Hi everybody, here's Christian, and this is Pico-8 Hero, and we are still working on our Breakout tutorial thing in Pico-8. Let us get straight to business, because last time around we stopped at a very important moment. We wanted to add 4 different types of bricks to our game. We succeeded in doing this, at least they're having the different colors now. But now we want them to behave differently. Now we no longer would just want them to be just like eye candy, but we want them actually to behave differently. It's something I noticed last time around, by the way. I feel like the indestructible brick doesn't quite look the way I want him to look. So let me see if we can change the color maybe to like 6. That might be like because something I noticed, like it was the contrast between the background wasn't strong enough. So I think this is a bit better. Oh, there was a bit of a mistake. I moved towards the ball and it got stuck inside the paddle. So the collision detection is not perfect still, but that's okay. Good. Okay. So let us start thinking about how to make bricks behave differently. And I feel the easiest way to make a brick behave differently is the indestructible brick, because we just know that if the ball hits that brick, nothing happens. Let us see where the ball hits bricks. Here. Here it is. So again, this is a lot of code, and we are about to add a lot of code, and this is already inside a huge function. So this is a good moment to create a special function. So let's go function hit brick. Not sure if we already have this function like that's called like this. We have brick hit. Let's call it whatever it is. We're gonna call it hit brick. And then again underscore I. This is going to be a parameter or like an argument that specifies which brick we're talking about. And then end. That's going to be it. And then up here, when we actually hit the brick, we're just going to go hit brick. Not really a big fan of the fact that we have a brick hit and hit brick. That's likely to cause some maybe confusion, but whatever. So we're just going to put the I. The I is the variable here that because we iterate through all of the bricks. And the I is the variable that is responsible for keeping track which of the brick we are talking about when we do collision detection. So we just call our function, and we give this function the I as an argument, saying like, okay, please now hit brick I, and then the function takes care of whatever is happening. Good. And so this stuff here, where we have chains and stuff like that, this stuff is something that we are going to grab. And yeah, that's good. Good. So this is like a normal brick. And this is, I feel, like something that only should happen if we actually hit a normal type of brick. So let's do like an if statement here. If brick underscore t equals for some reason, still I'm flabbergasted by the fact that there is no simple way to make like just parentheses. There's this, but I cannot. Very, very weird. I'm sorry, I'm getting used to this keyboard. It's kind of weird. Maybe here somewhere? No. Okay. So yeah, if it's B, then all of this happens. Oops. Got too used to real editing suites. Like this. Else if brick equals. So now we're going to think about the indestructible brick. That's I. If that happens, then, well, maybe we're going to have a different sound effect. That's something I thought about. We're definitely not going to increase the chain. Actually, we might reset the chain to 0. No, we're just going to ignore it. The chain gets reset when it hits the pedal. We're just going to ignore stuff. We're not going to give him any points for this, and the brick won't disappear. Just gonna put up a sound effect. So let's create a sound effect. Okay, I'm gonna copy this. I'm not exactly sure what kind of sound effect this will be. Maybe something sadder, something like down here. Oops. Maybe something more chaotic, something like this. Nah, that's too chaotic. What about this? That's maybe a bit too nice. That's kind of nice because it seems like it's bouncing maybe off the, like it's high pitch because it hits like metal or something. I'm gonna try this one. So this is sound number 10. So I want to run sound number 10 here. Good. So now let's create a level that actually lets us test this this new type of brick. Where is it? There we go. We're gonna delete this level. That was a nice test level, but now we're gonna create a new level. We're gonna also not delete, but remove this level. That was a good level to test, like if we can proceed, but let's just create a new level now. Square bracket. Nope. Like this. Ha. Okay. So let's do some level design. Yeah. So we want an indestructible brick 9 times. Indestructible then 9 times. Or actually, can we just go 9, 9, 9, 9 like this? Just a lot of indestructible bricks. Oh, no sound effect. Well, it's reacting as it should, but it's not running the sound effect. Why doesn't it run the sound effect? Was maybe the wrong, it was 10, it was supposed to be 10. Let's see if this works. Okay. Oh, silly me. I forgot the because it's an array, and we have to specify which entry in this array we're talking about, and that's why we want to have the I. Let's try this now. Yeah. Okay, so you might notice there's a big of a problem here, and that's the fact that if you have like a situation like this, you cannot actually finish this level. The problem that is with the indestructible bricks is that they are indestructible. They cannot be destroyed. So in our function where we are checking if the game is over, we actually have to add like a check that makes sure that it ignores indestructible bricks. Like if there's just indestructible bricks on a screen, we should proceed to the next level. Makes sense, right? Because we cannot destroy those indestructible bricks. So where are we? Where is it? Where is that function? Set ang serve ball level finish. There we go. So if bricks v if there's something visible and bricks. So here we're checking if there is even one brick on the screen that is still visible. Oops. And of course it should not be and brick type should not. I'm not sure if this works this way. Haven't been working with this in a while. So if it's not it's not an I type of brick and visible, then we know that the game is still continuing. Let's try this. There we go. Yeah. So it made the check when you first collided with a brick to realize, okay, there's just no bricks left on the screen. Let's stop. Good. Okay, so wait a minute. Let me. There was one more thing about. There was a way in which we could skip to the next line. Oh, there we go. Like with this. Okay. So now if you have like this type of level, so we can now create like cool stuff. For example, we can create like this and then maybe x4, and then a B, then slash again, then I9, like this. Let's try. See? Now you kind of have to shoot the ball in this little gap here, which happened automatically, funny enough, and have the ball bouncing around inside and actually hit this one brick inside. There we go. Oops, there was a problem. Good. There's something wrong with this function that we just created that deals with a collision of a brick. Here, this function here. There is no I anymore because we copied it from the other function. So we're gonna do underscore I. This should be it. Let's try it again. We might not complete this level. There we go. Ah, no. Can you get in there? Is it even possible? Are we just cycling between different types? There we go. Ah, no, not quite. This is actually a really good game. Let's try this. No. Yes. Good. Okay. So first brick down, more to come. So now we want to maybe do this brick that is hardened, the hardened brick. So if brick equals hardened, then I still want to maybe play this this sound effect that seems like it hits something heavy, something that is out of metal. But now we have to change kind of like the brick type. I want to change the brick type now. Notice that the reason why this brick, this indestructible brick, why it doesn't disappear is that we don't have the part that makes the brick disappeared. And that's this one where it's like brick visible equals false. We don't have this when the brick is type indestructible. So we don't want the visible equals false for our hardened brick. We just want to maybe change the type to a different type of brick now. So if we hit it once, it will change into a normal brick. Something that we can easily do. And then later on, we can maybe think about some bricks that have maybe more health points, so to speak. You have to hit them more times. But for now, I'm just going to do like okay, the type, I'm going to switch it to just B. Not going to do a combo. The combo will just you neither lose or nor continue the combo. It's just kind of like a passive kind of thing. And here I wanted to maybe add the indestructible brick. No, actually the hardened brick at the end. There's a problem. Oh yeah, right. That's the code that we put in here wasn't quite right. We used double equals sign. We have to, this is the line that assigns a value. So assigning values is the single equals, comparing values is double equals. I'm gonna make this a bit more like this. Okay, let's try this. You can see it hit the brick once, and that brick turned color into a pink brick. Oops. There we go. And now we can get we kind of like have to bore ourselves into this we have to create a hole to get upstairs and destroy the bricks inside. That's good. Good. So far 2 bricks down the line. Now there's one brick that is going to be easy to deal with. And it's going to be the power up brick. We can do it right away. So that's going to be P. The power up brick is going to be the same as a normal brick. And I'm going to actually continue the combo on this one because it's just a normal brick to me that also triggers a power up. So I'm going to do a to-do, trigger a power up. We're going to make sure that we actually have a power up brick. Later on, when we trigger the power up, we can maybe think about different sound effects for this. But let me try this. Yeah, it triggered it. So it disappeared like a normal brick. Perfect. Okay. So one more brick left is the exploding brick. So that's going to be the S brick. So here is I'm actually thinking about how to do this. I'm here. Let me explain what I mean. So I am going to create a row of exploding bricks actually. So instead of indestructible, I'm going to go create S bricks. Right. So far they're not exploding. I don't like the, by the way, I'm thinking maybe changing the color because I'm not so sure about the yellow anymore. I'm not so sure about the yellow. Maybe orange will be better after all. So instead of the 10, let's try with a 9. Yeah, I think this is better. Because the ball was already yellow, so I wanted maybe a different color here. So good. So if the brick is this exploding brick, and here we have to think about a little bit. Let me do the way I would do it first, and then think about it a little bit further. So if it's exploding brick, we gonna make it into a chain. I just realized something. Okay, never mind. So we're gonna add this to a chain. Yeah, let's add it to the chain, whatever. It will disappear. First of all, we're just gonna make it disappear like a normal brick. There we go. Perfect. But now we have to think about it a little bit. Because what we want to do now is we want to make the neighboring bricks also disappear. And the problem is we don't want to just make them disappear immediately, because if we do that, then the entire line would disappear in the single frame, right? What we want to actually do is we want to make them disappear maybe next frame. So when there's a chain reaction that triggers, it propagates in an animated way through the screen, not just like everything explodes at the same time. So I'm thinking actually introducing a different type, a type that's not going to be actually really visible. A type that is all about, that will just basically trigger an explosion. So we're gonna call this, I'm thinking of a, let's call it Z, whatever. Let's go, oh no, actually, so instead of disappearing, making disappear, we're gonna change the type to something else. We're gonna change the type to Z. And we're gonna actually make sure, just like a debug, for debug reasons, we're gonna make sure that this Z type is actually displayed on the screen. Z type. It's gonna be red on the screen. Nothing happened. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's P, right. I wanted S. Good. Okay, so now it's kind of red. And so what we want to do now is we want to have like extra function at each of a frame that goes through all of our bricks and see if there's exploding bricks there. And if there's exploding bricks, it makes the bricks explode. So we're gonna take this. We're gonna do it here. Where we go? We're gonna go put it right after the hit brick function. I'm gonna call it function check explosions. And that function will just check the entire, like all of the bricks that are on the screen for explosions and see if there's just any bricks that are exploding. For I brick do if brick X no, wait a minute, that's wrong. How do we do this? There we go. This is what we wanted. So if this is type is Z, then we're gonna go explode brick. Now there's one thing that won't quite work about this. Whatever. We're just going to continue for now. Okay, so explode brick. So we're going to create a new function called explode brick, and that function actually will explode a brick. So function explode brick I. Okay, so now for the explode brick function is I want to go through all of the bricks that are surrounding the brick that I had, and I want to make that basically trigger the function that would hit them usually, like trigger the function that where the ball hits those bricks. So again, I'm gonna do like a for next loop and loop through all of the bricks. Something maybe that I'm also going to do is at the beginning, I'm going to save. I mean, I'm not going to use, this should be underscore I, because so we're not going to confuse then this I and this I. Actually, just make sure, I'm going to make sure it's J. So, so yeah. So we're getting kind of like, the brick number I is supposed to explode now. So we're going to iterate through all of our bricks. And we're gonna, first of all, we're gonna make sure that this is not, if J is not equal underscore I, is not equal the brick that's currently exploding. And we're gonna go brick underscore, oh, and if it's visible, of course, duh. And brick underscore V equals, oh, actually a square bracket. So if it's not the, we go through all our bricks and we're trying to find the neighboring bricks right now, the bricks that are next to the brick that's supposed to explode. So if it's not the brick that's exploding, and if it's visible, we can do like a equals true here, but we can also just continue like this because the brick V is always true and false. So I'm just gonna keep it like this. Okay, but then this is the complicated part now, where we have to check if there are neighboring bricks, and that's tricky. That's a tricky thing to do. Not gonna lie. So we have to check if they're like what the distance is between the brick that we're talking about and the brick that is exploding. So we're gonna go brick underscore x square bracket underscore I. So this is the brick that we're talking about, minus this is the brick. Oh, not, wait a minute, this is supposed to be J. There we go. J is the brick that we're talking about, and I is the brick that's exploding. Good. So we're gonna check their x coordinates. If they're smaller, what is the width of the brick? Let me see real quick. Here. Brick width +2. +2 is the padding, and we're gonna take this padding with us. So it's like if this is smaller than the width of the brick +2, let's go smaller or equals. But of course, it's not just that, but it's also we have to check for the height too. There is a big problem with this. And that problem is so we're checking the distance, right? We're checking the distance between the two bricks. And the order of the bricks, like if you're checking this brick against this brick or this brick against this brick, like because there's a minus here, that makes a big difference, because it could be a negative number that we get out. And if it's negative, it could be like a huge number. The distance could be huge, but just negative because of the order of the bricks inside our equation. And so the bricks might be very far apart, but the number is very negative, so it will be smaller than the width. So we need to get kind of like an absolute value, like we have to remove the minus in front. That's something that we do with ABS, absolute value. So whatever the distance is, we always want the distance to be positive. We strip the sign, or make sure that it's always plus. Flip it always to plus. So this time we're checking for the y distance, and this time we're checking for the height. I think it's also +2. Okay, so if all of these things, then this is actually a brick that is a neighboring. And then we're gonna go hit brick. We're just gonna hit it as if the ball has hit it. There's a bit of a problem here because we're gonna continue our chain this way. Don't want to do that, but that's something we're gonna deal later on. So hit brick, J. So after all of this is done, we also want to make the brick actually explode. So we just want to make them make it invisible. So we're gonna go brick T, brick V T equals false. Actually, we can make this already here at the top. And this way we don't have to actually check if they're the same. But whatever, let's keep it like this. So huge if statement. Let's see if this works. Oh, small little detail. We're not actually checking for the explosions anywhere. So that's something we have to still add. Ideally in a loop function somewhere. In an update function. Update game, that's good. Ideally at the end here. Or maybe let's go check for the explosions here. After we remove the ball. Okay. It worked! It worked! This is great! Oh, but it's kind of funny that we didn't. This is so good. There's one more thing that bothers me, and that thing that bothers me is the following. Look. Oh, apparently it doesn't serve the ball at the beginning of the level. Is that how this works? Why didn't it start with a serve ball? Let me see real quick. Serve ball. There's serve ball here. At the next level. Start game. Serve ball there. Okay, so where's serve ball again? Stick equals true. Let's go to the update function real quick. Update game. There we go. I think here we're gonna do a P. So maybe the difference, in case you missed this, so BTN checks if a button is pressed, and it's true every frame the button is pressed. Even if you continue pressing the button, it delivers true. BTNP is only true like once, and then it's no longer true. So if you keep pressing it, it's no longer true. You have to repress it again to make it true again. And that's all good for things that where you want to wait for people to release the button and press it again. So for example, menus are a very good situation where you don't want to really, to select something from a menu and then continue the next menu and then select immediately in the same frame the next thing because you didn't release the button quickly enough. So that's where you put the P in here. And yeah, now we get in control. That was a bit of a bug. So I'm thinking if I do like this, yeah. So you can see it disappeared immediately. Why did it disappear immediately? Because of a little stupid thing. I'm not exactly sure how to do this. So were we checking for the explosions? We iterate through all of the bricks, and some of the bricks might be actually things that exploding, and in this case, all of the neighboring bricks get marked as exploding. But then, we go back to our loop where we're checking for explosions, and some of the bricks that are just have been marked as exploding will explode again. So it will like the chain reaction will immediately go through. Like will immediately in one frame all of the bricks will explode if the order is right. Like if depending on which brick you hit. Like all of the bricks that come after the brick you hit will also immediately detonate. Whereas all the bricks that we already checked for and didn't explode yet, they won't get to detonate. They will detonate next turn. So hitting the brick on the right side of the screen, that was fine. That worked exactly as we wanted. We had like an explosion going slowly, or not slowly, but one brick exploded at a time. But when we hit a brick on the left side of the screen, like the entire row exploded at the same time. So I'm thinking how to deal with this the best. How to deal with this the best. The best. The best. We might actually do two types of bricks, kind of like a brick that is set up to explode next frame and a brick that is set up to explode this frame. So let's say we go ZZ. Suddenly we're using two Z's. Maybe let's call this not ZZ. I want to let's call it ZZ. Let's see what happens if we call it ZZ. Okay, so we call this brick ZZ. That's kind of marked to explode the next turn. Then, at the beginning of check explosions, we're gonna iterate through all of the bricks multiple times. If the brick is ZZ, we're gonna change it to Z. Then we're gonna explode all the bricks that are marked Z. And then newly exploding bricks are still going to be ZZ, so they won't get exploded immediately. And then we can change all of them to Z, back to Z again. A bit of a lot of loops through this. Oh, there's some problem. Oh. Again, assigning, not checking. And it seems a bit of like a confusing way to do this. But trust me. See, now it worked as we wanted. One more thing I would do here is if brick equals Z or equals ZZ. And now we can create these really cool levels, but man, this episode has been long. Episode has been long, so I wanted to end right now. Very complicated stuff. If there's something that you didn't quite understand, let me know. I think this exploding part might be a bit confusing. Why we did this? So it might be worth like going through this, step by step. But the problem, like the reason why we did this complicated setup, where we had like different types like ZZ, Z, and actual S, is to make sure that bricks are exploding one after each other. Every frame, the next brick explodes, and not like all of the bricks explode in one frame. Right, so what are we going to do next time? Next time, we figured this one. We figured out the different types of bricks. There is one more thing that we're gonna do, that we have to do next time around, or in the future, which is power-ups. Not exactly sure what kind of power-ups we do. I kind of like been dreading this episode because there is a lot of complicated stuff you can do with power-ups. So I'm thinking maybe some simple power-ups. Gonna have to create like maybe like a list. We're gonna have to think about which power-ups we want to have and how we're gonna implement them. Like for example, if you hit a power-up brick, are you going to get this power-up immediately, or is it something that you have to pick up? Not exactly sure how we're gonna do with this. But that's something that we're gonna figure out next time around. I hope you'll join us next time. As always, make sure to post questions in the comment section, and I'm gonna also post the code of this lesson at the end of this lesson in the doobly-doo, so you can check it out yourself. See you next time around, guys. Bye bye.